Hey, what's going on, guys? Bflattened here with another brand new video today. Today we're going to be going over BullDoze Moze. This is a completed version and a god rolled version, I should say, of the character that I use for the hunt. Whenever I want to go power through something really quickly, bosses especially. So let's go ahead and go through the skill trees, the gear that we use, and we'll also show some display for it. So it's mainly going to be in the red tree for railguns. We start off with security bear, so we take less damage with while inside Iron Bear. There's a bubble that goes around, and it makes your Iron Bear pretty much immune to most things. Barrels not included. Armored infantry, whenever your shields are active, you get damage reduction and gun damage. This is going to be helpful when you are out of Iron Bear and you need to have some survivability to kill some things. Drowned in Brass, this also works for Iron Bear turrets. For each stack of iron Drowned in Brass, your fire rate is reduced, but your gun damage is increased. And it's also a kill skill that you get for stacks that you get up to 3. Thin Red Line, we get some shield out of this so we can survive a little bit longer, and our armored infantry can stay active a little bit longer when we're outside of Iron Bear. We drop down to 1 HP because of this, and we get to utilize things like Desperate Measures. Experimental munitions, whenever we score a crit with either me or Iron Bear, we get bonus fire damage. Entering Iron Bear causes our shields to immediately begin recharging so that we can get our shield to stay active even when we enter and exit Iron Bear fairly quickly. Behind the Iron Curtain, our shield recharge delay is reduced and the rate is increased. I only put 1 point in here just to move down the tree. Desperate Measures, so that our Iron Bear weapon damage and our gun damage is increased, depending on how low our HP is. Gun damage up to 50%. We have 1 HP, so we get the max investment from it. You could also put points into Vlad Ingenuity if you want to, but you sacrifice damage for shield. It's not really worth it in the end. But if you're more of a survivability player, you could do this instead. We utilize all forms of railgun augments, so Hell on Rails for fleshy enemies, Armature for the majority of enemies when you're mobbing, and Sabots for armored enemies, things like Wotan and Krakens, things like that. Inside our blue tree, we do deadlines so that we drain less fuel. Fire in the Stag's Den is a major one that we do. Whenever we do splash damage, you get bonus fire damage out of it. It's Mayhem scaled times 31. It's huge. Torque Cross promo, our splash damage is increased, and we have our splash damage radius has a chance to double. Stainless Steel Bear, we get additional armor and increased fuel, and also increased damage. Stainless Steel Bear still works and interacts with Fire in the Skag's Den for unknown reasons. There's literally no reason for it to, but it does. It does also work with Iron Bear, of course, so it is a double benefit for us. And then finally, Auto Bear, whenever we exit Iron Bear, our bear will stick around for as long as there's fuel. We get really big guns for Iron Bear damage, and also biofuel, so whenever we ignite an enemy, things like Fire in the Skag's Den, for example, we regenerate health for a few seconds for a very short time. If you want to, you can invest points into Big Surplus over 5 points into biofuel, so you can do a 3-2 split if you really want to. Big Surplus will be very helpful if you are Moze yourself and you need to get some extra fire damage and some cooldown back with that. It's also helpful. Finally, the green tree, Cloud of Lead. Your Iron Bear shots will deal bonus fire damage. It won't consume ammo. Docket Bear, whenever we sit down in our Docket Bear itself, we get some gun damage out of it. It does actually count for gun damage. It passes over URAD. It passes over Guardian Angel damage, and it also passes over Unforgiven crit damage. Redistribution, whenever we score a crit, we get ammo and HP. Stoke the Embers. Increases Moze and Iron Bear's fire damage, so things like Fire in the Skag's Den, biofuel, things like that. Any fire damage is increased. Scorching RPMs, we get increased fire rate and crit damage, and our Iron Bear gets hardpoint damage. And finally, Specialist Bear, whenever we equip 2 of the same augments, we get 60% increased damage from that. So usually 2 railguns of any form. With our gear, we use the flipper and the free radical just so that we can get out of fight for our life and also get really quick kills to cool down our Iron Bear with this multivitamin plus ultra cooldown. I use a Guardian Angel and the Unforgiven. The Unforgiven is when I sit in Daka Bear, and the Guardian Angel is for the railgun damage. Both of them are very good. As said earlier, multivitamin plus ultra. With the 2 health parts, we get HP passed over into our Iron Bear by 125%. The grenade you can switch out. I like to use a clusterfuck just for fun, but you can use a cloning magnet tracker. It's probably going to be better for you anyways. When your Iron Bear takes damage, you have a chance to spawn the CMT, so you can get a lot of kills off of it. The CMT homes in, and it'll do Fire in the Skag's Den damage. Snowdrift Deathless, we get Fire, AoE, and Max HP. The Max HP actually goes into Iron Bear, so that's really helpful. Here we have Splash Damage, Action Skill Damage, and Max HP. The Max HP goes into Iron Bear, of course. Action Skill Damage actually works with Fire in the Skag's Den for some stupid reason. And of course, Action Skill Damage itself is going to be our Railguns. And of course, Splash Damage, anything that does Splash Damage is going to be increased as well. 3 into Stainless Steel Bear, because for some reason the Flare can only roll 3 Stainless Steel Bear. I don't think that's ever been fixed. So this is the maximum amount of Flare that you can get. I don't believe it's been fixed yet. It should have been, but I don't think it is still. And yeah, that's going to be our gear and skill trees. Let's go ahead and show off the build in action. I like to hang on to the Guardian Angel. Guardian Angel is going to be our main source of weapon that we're going to be using when we're entering Iron Bear, and our free radical and our flipper are going to be when we're outside. Unforgiven whenever we want to enter Daka Bear. It's very helpful. And we'll throw on CMT just for build showcase. What's up, Deering? How you doing? The Snowdrift is especially helpful for when we want to maneuver around a lot. I actually have the wrong railguns on. I did get a haircut, yes. I got one today. Snowdrift is especially helpful for when we want to get out of dire situations like that. Free Radical was nice to get out of Fight for Your Life there, because URAD does work in Fight for Your Life. Because we have Deathless on, we're always stuck at 1 HP. So we can utilize that for sure. I'm actually going to switch on our Armature. That was great. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Glad you like it. Armature is going to be way better for our mobbing. Corrosive rounds are going to be way better for bossing. The chains will be able to chain between mob to mob. Due to the amount of damage that our Iron Bear is doing here, we're pretty much going to be one-shotting absolutely everything. So it doesn't necessarily matter. Let's see if we can one-shot Kraken here. And we do. That's due to the annoyance that our Guardian Angel has, the 150%. It's multiplicative, does a lot of damage. It's hard. You need a haircut? Now's the perfect time for it. Now's the perfect time for it. Our Iron Bear is sitting on almost 8 million armor. And we also have the Security Bear shield as well to fend off extra attacks. Remember with the grenade that we're hanging on to, the CMT with the Iron Bear active, taking 0 damage but still getting shot is still quote-unquote taking damage. So it can still spawn even if you're not taking actual damage. Still getting hit by it? Yeah, it still works. And we can mess around with those. One-shot that. Or when I asked if I should shiny hunt the lake trio? Yes. What about it? Okay, here's the perfect example of oh, never mind, auto bear just wants to auto bear. Perfect example of Docker bear. This is all gonna work with gun damage here, and it also passes over the crit of Docker bear. Since we killed a bunch of enemies there, we get some cooldown onto our action skill. By the time the next Valkyries show up, we have enough time to enter back in Iron Bear, and we're already good to go. Let's go ahead and wait until they enter the center. We'll wait for the third one to jump up here. Does not totally one-shot all. We got 2 down, and that thing's dead. 198 million per shot, non-crit. It does a lot of damage. Can definitely clear out enemies, definitely clear out bosses. One-shots most bosses. Feel free to have a lot of fun with this. The save file is going to be in Discord as the time of this upload. So feel free to download it, have some fun. Only going to be on PC format, unfortunately. And yeah. Reflux, Wedding Invitation, a lot of fun stuff in here. A lot of few fun class mods that you can play around with. 65s are still fine. Feel free to download it and have some fun. My name is Bflattened, and I'm signing on out of here. Feel free to have some fun with the build. Take care, guys. Laters.